All right. Thank you for joining me today. Where is the new Earth? With all that is happening currently in the news, what we see unfolding on a global scale, it may leave us wondering where is this new Earth that we've been hearing about for so many years now? And I'm here to tell you that the new Earth is already here. It's already here within our hearts. It's already, the energies of it are already here. And I can also tell you that there are people right now who are unlocking amazing psychic abilities such as telekinesis. I can assure you that there are people right now who have had direct experiences with telekinetic abilities, and they were witnessed by people in the vicinity. So, of course, you wouldn't hear things like that in the news, and you may be wondering who are these people? What is this all about? And I'm here to answer these questions. Now, we, of course, are on a evolutionary track, and we may think evolution has to do with intellect or gadget, like technology and the likes, but we are also very much on a psychic evolution. And there are a lot of energies at play on a cosmic scale that are affecting, directing, helping, sustaining this psychic evolution as we speak. And this is what I want to talk with you about today. So we're going to be exploring themes such as the Earth's Kundalini, the precession of the equinox, the Stargate, a massive Stargate that has opened in South America to help with the integration of this shift in consciousness that we're currently going through. And as well as the political status of our Milky Way that's having an effect of what we're experiencing here on Earth right now. And also what you can do to tap in these good energies to manifest it within yourself so they can actually manifest here on earth, because that's the main part, right? If we just see it in the sky and we just keep looking at it, but we don't ask ourselves, what can I do, physically do on a day to day to manifest these energies, then it just, the ship's going to sail type of thing. So we want to take action and we want to know how we can take action. So, first thing first, my name is Isabelle. Welcome to the download. I'm a metaphysicist. I have had direct experiences with extraterrestrial beings. I have been on board spaceships, which was very traumatizing for me. And I spent the last years of my life to about integrating these experiences in my day-to-day life, as well as doing energy work here on planet Earth. I'm currently in Ecuador, and I've been a monk in the mountain for many years now, meaning that I just sit, do my work, go to town once a week, do my groceries, come back. But now it appears the time for me to come down from the mountain, so to speak, and start talking about these experiences and what I'm seeing and share that on the wider platform. So here I am. So thank you for joining me. And first thing first, we're going to be talking about our psychic evolution, what it has to do with the Earth's Kundalini. Now, the earth has a kundalini energy, mean it's like a coral that goes from the center of the earth and it reaches a spot on the surface. And that kundalini energy really affects, it's very potent earth chi that affects all of the inhabitants and its vicinity. And the Earth's Kundalini changes and follow the precession of the equinox. So every 13,000 years, the Kundalini energy shift its location on the surface of the Earth. Now, for the last 13,000 years, the Earth's Kundalini was up in the Himalayas. And again, doing its thing, it really affected the people in its vicinity, which gave birth to Eastern philosophies, Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and giving birth to practices such as mindfulness, meditation, yoga, and the likes. Now, to put things in perspective, Eastern philosophies didn't really start going mainstream until the 70s when there were people, we finally had like planes, access to planes, and people could fly to India and these places to really sit with gurus. And they brought this awareness back into North America, like people like Ram Dass had a huge impact, and Alan Watts, to for us to be able to even understand Eastern philosophies in the first place, or show and grow an interest in it. And of course, now with technology, with social media, with like the digital world, it made it so much more easier to even have access to these teachings globally. And it's crazy to think that an energy that's been there and cultivated for 13,000 years really just reached its global presence in the last 100 years. That is wild. Like on a time span. So moving it along, so now I think it was in 2012 when the Earth's Kundalini actually shifted its location, and it traveled and it arrived finally near Lake Titicaca, Bolivia, South America. And again, with it, bringing a massive change in our consciousness, affecting the people in the area. So this is why there has been such a growing interest to people for people to travel to South America and experience plant medicines such as ayahuasca or bufo, or there are many others, but there you have it. So with that, now if you think of human potential and where the Eastern philosophies have helped us become aware of our energetic vessel and feeling into our energetic vessel. Even at that, like if you were going to do all of the Eastern practices and finally, let's say, reach Buddhahood, you would still only achieve a small step in the giant staircase of what our consciousness can do. So, the next step in our human psychic evolution is to take this awareness of this energy that we have cultivated and utilize it in the ways that has a direct impact on the reality around us. Think of telekinesis to pull plastic out of the oceans and the like. So, as you can see, this is a huge responsibility. How can we awaken these abilities so we do not hurt each other with it, and we're not going to be destructive to the planet? And I guess how can we develop these abilities safely is where a Stargate, the massive Stargate, comes into play. Stargates are like, imagine a big giant portal, and it's essentially a celestial gate, so to speak, of information that comes in certain times to help us move and anchor some major shift in our society, in our culture, in our consciousness, and the likes. So, one example of a massive Stargate that had opened and is now closed is one in Gobekli Tepe. And there are some columns there that has like animal carvings on it. And the reason is because the animals on a spiritual level were all gathered and present for this massive Stargate opening, because they were going to be very affected. Gobekli Tepe was open essentially to help us go from hunting and gathering into agriculture. That is a huge change. Like, it's easy to look at cell phones and tablets and cars and planes and think like, whoa, these are huge technological advancement. But agriculture made that possible, and it was a huge transformation, especially even from our psyche, the way we interact and with nature. Because when we were hunting and gathering, okay, so we would know when certain fruits were in season or vegetables were in season or when hunting would be good in certain locations or the fishing in the lakes. But when you get into agriculture, now you have to expand your awareness beyond what is just currently available. You have to start planning ahead of the game and really pay attention to weather patterns to know when to plant and not to plant and where to plant and the house. So it was massive, massive, massive. So at that time in our evolution, we did had a Stargate open for collective energies in the cosmos to come and help us with this transition by providing us information. So, how does that translate to this big Stargate that is happening here in South America? When you think of developing and having a direct impact on the physicality around you, like moving object with your mind, that is a huge jump. But what is the implication of that? So essentially, there's a Stargate that's coming here and it's going to be opened for 1,000 years to help us integrate these abilities safely. This information comes from another galaxy called Arrakarrya. And this galaxy is very rich energetically. I've connected with it myself and I invite you to do so. The portals are all stable, so you can access it yourself in your own meditation, astral planes, or whatever means you got to explore the cosmos. And essentially, all of its inhabitants live symbiotically. So it's not just about developing advanced psychic abilities, it's also cultivating a symbiotic relationship with ourselves, with each others, and with the world around us, our home planet, and other celestial beings. So, for now, this Stargate that I had a hand in opening is energetically, the frequencies of it are here right now, so you can access this, and eventually it will bleed, because right now it's just something for us to connect with on an energetic level, but it will lead in future time with an actual proper structure, with actually a retreat center that will be co-facilitated by an couple of races of extraterrestrial beings to have some kind of cultural exchange. And that is definitely in the cards for us. And I will tell you more about this in a little bit. I want to talk to into what's the political status. Oh, am I okay? No, I'm just gonna go keep going about the Stargate. So one of the first race who is going to come here and help us really own these psychic abilities will be the Mentids. And the reason being is the Mentids or Mentis, they are an intraterrestrial type of being. So they are deeply affected by what we do here on Earth in this dimension. They just live in a different dimension, so they have a really good understanding of the biological, bioengineering, and the intricate interconnectedness of all living creature on our home planet. And essentially, psychic abilities will be used to help restore our home planet back to the Garden of Edens it once was. So, when you think of someone with psychic abilities such as telekinesis, it's not going to be a show. It's not going to be, oh, look at me, what I can do. It's not going to be like, hey, I'm going to be, oh, I can move heavy object. Maybe I can start a business and get rich doing that. No, these abilities are unlocked and made available to us so we can help restore our home planet to balance. And it doesn't just stop with telekinesis, let's say pulling plastic out of the oceans. It is also on a cellular level, being able to revert our genetically modified food back to their origin just using our prana. This is what is in store for us. It's also alchemizing excess CO2 in the atmosphere and essentially healing ourselves, healing our home planet, healing our relationships, our governments, and all of it. So this is what is in store for us, and the mentis are going to be here. The one that I've seen in Interact, when we get into extraterrestrial races, there's so many of them, and I'm gonna touch into that as we move along. But the mentis are going to help us with, again, the realiving of our home planet. So that's in the plan. And if I'm saying, like, if you're asking me for a timestamp on that, if I were to tell you like 20 years, that is incredibly generous. I think it's going to be much sooner than that, much, much sooner than that. So, what else is happening that is affecting us right now? So, we covered that there's the Kundalini, it's now in South America, birthing a new consciousness as we have integrating the last cycle into our collective. And we talk about the Stargate to help us integrate. That's going to be here for the next 1,000 years. We talk about extraterrestrial coming, helping us out, the whole works of it. But what else is also currently happening in the cosmos that's having a direct impact on Earth is the political status of our Milky Way. Now, for the longest time in our Milky Way, there were races of extraterrestrial beings at wars with each other. And I have so many memories of that, more than I can shake. And something that I've observed when I was remembering these wars is sometimes I'd be like on a planet, a different planet, and I could see a spaceship landing, and it would be like military personnel coming out. But when I was looking at their uniform, like it was not all shredded, and the military people, they didn't look like they had been to war. They were laughing, joking, no sign of PTSD. And it's like, what's going on there? And they were popping up giant coolers out of their aircrafts, out of their crafts. And I knew in the coolers there were some genetic material because as there were wars happening and the technology, like you think of space faring civilization going at war, they were also very much exploring and they were experimenting with things, and something they loved to experiment with was with genetic material. And all that to say that during this war there was a massive panspermia happening where a lot of planets, systems, star system were populated by different races. Now think about it this way. If I gave you a dozen eggs to hatch from a creature, and I give you like a gauge as to about how you should set up your incubator to hatch it, would you put all of your dozen eggs in one incubator, or would maybe like separate them in like six incubators, and two here, two there, two here, and just to make sure at least perhaps you have a pair? This is essentially what happened. And all that to say that through panspermia and through these wars, us humanoids, like if you think of human beings, there is currently about 1 million planets inhabited with humanoids in our solar system that we all share a common ancestor. And you can easily connect with them through our heart resonance because we are alike, we share a common ancestor, and it's the easiest type of beings for us to connect with because we share so much, we have so much in common. Now, of course, we have all evolved differently, and we are becoming slowly aware of each other, but this is there. So also to say that when we try to, like, if you think of like, oh, the mantids, yeah, well, yeah, okay, it's a race perhaps, but you have to think like one race of extraterrestrial being can be populated across like so many worlds and planets and the like. So it's hard to identify exactly like precise races and when they come from, especially when just in our Milky Way, in our galaxy alone, we have identified like 596 celestial bodies. That probably includes our solar system and the likes. So to even become aware of an extraterrestrial race and know exactly where it is for sure, if you don't even have a name for it, that makes it more difficult, right? And the billions of stars that there is in the Milky Way alone, we only had like 600 of them named. So I'm just, yeah, making a point. It's hard sometimes to identify a precisely a race, but there's still an over collective energy, and we can communicate with that. So, in light of that, the political status of Milky Way. So, there was a lot of wars, there was a lot of genetic material being passed around, and eventually, our galaxy made a truce, and we came and we became a galaxy of peace. I'm saying that now to let you know that war, the energy of war, is no longer supported in this galaxy. It's no longer in alignment. Just like us human beings, we have our own evolution. The planet has its own evolution. Our solar system has its own evolution, but so is our galaxy, and this is where we act now. Now, why do we see so much war here on Earth? Well, really, it's everything that's being pushed out. Like, imagine you live in a house, right? And it's nighttime, let's just say, and then it's lit up with a little candle. And you're like, wow, like it looks good here. It's cozy. Just a little candle, and you look around, and it's nothing wrong with the place, right? But then somebody gives you like a massive lamp, and then you turn on the lamp, and you're like, wow, what's happening here? There's cobwebs everywhere, there's dust, and like things look clean when it was just a little candlelight. But now, like, everything looks dirty, so to speak. And this is essentially what is happening. There's just a huge amount of light hitting the earth right now, and it's shining lights onto things that have been there for a long time. It's just becoming more mainstream, and it's becoming more agitated, aggravating, and it's like almost like a wound that turns nasty before it heals. It's just the crap all coming out. So this is where we're at, and this is why we're seeing so much stuff. And I would like to tell you that it's coming to an end soon, but the only way out is true. You just got to go through it and stay grounded, protect your inner peace, and know that this too shall pass, that justice will be served, and all will be well. We cannot build palaces of light on shady foundation, and we need to first make sure our foundation is solid. So, what are those shady foundation that needs to clean? I think a lot of you like something that I became aware of. I really want to let you guys know is through these wars and all the panspermia, they were like a council that was formed, and they were like, wow, okay, we need rules of engagement when it comes to interplanetary operations. And that's not something recent, but there were some rules that were developed. Do not introduce technology before its time. Uh, Definitely do not play with genetic material. Do not make shady deals. Do not influence. Do not act like God, and such and such and such. Not allowed to interfere. Not allowed to influence. You can only guide when asked and be honest, so to speak. a lot of these rules have been broken here on Earth and have been broken for 200 thousands of years. So there is a legal entity that deals with this kind of stuff in our galaxy, and they're called Galactic Command Interplanetary Operations, not to be confused with Ashtar Command or the Galactic Federation of Light or any other extraterrestrial entity that have gathered a group. We're really talking here about coalition of beings who uphold these legal obligations, who prosecutes anyone who has broken them, and they're actually in the confine of our solar system right now. They're just outside of our solar system, and they're waiting to come in and get some prosecution coming. And when I say that, I mean there's going to be real spaceships landing in broad daylight to expedite some entities out of here that are currently hiding because they know what they did is wrong. And that's the end of that. Now, there's also a whole side where there are some human beings who have profited greatly from this extraterrestrial presence, this negative extraterrestrial presence. And I will be talking into that in a whole other videos. Now, I just want to keep it into the new earth energy that is here. So, um, what can we do to align ourselves with the new earth energy and connect and really awaken these beautiful memories and allow them to transform us and allow them to guide us into what actions we can take today to manifest and pull down this reality from the clouds? First, let's talk about the energies that is going to prevent you from accessing this beautiful new earth reality. Things of energies like anger, resentment. If you have people you still have really like strong dislike for, that's going to prevent you from accessing this new earth energy. If you still feel a lot of hatred or you haven't made peace with your past and you're keeping ruminating, it's going to slow down your ability to access these beautiful energies. So it really is about making peace with our past and letting the past go to make room for something new. Other energies that may prevent us to from moving up in frequency is things like envy, jealousy, and competition, because they're all rooted in comparison. Comparison is duality. We're all in this together. And if I'm fighting with someone for something like the proverbial race, that there is some kind of first place of human experience that there is to win. And for some reason, we have this idea that we cannot all be at the top, like there has to be only one person. These ideologies will prevent us from connecting with the new earth. Now, another thing to take in consideration is well, yeah, competition. We cannot have collaboration with competition, right? And the new earth is all about working together. It's all about collaboration. So if we are fighting with each other somehow, even on a micro level, it's just not going to, there's dissonance there, and it's preventing us from connecting with the new earth and anchoring it down. Now, also, if we don't have a tight container and we leak energy, we seek external validation. That's a big energetic leak. If we seeking validation or attention seeking, it's not about that, especially when we talk about developing psychic abilities such as telekinesis. It's really, really important to be modest about it and to keep the container clean in a way that it's just meant to be tilling the earth and letting go of any kind of inflated self importance. It's not about making a big show here, right? It's really about having integrity. So, these are the kinds of energy, yes, seeking external validation and attention, competition. These are the energies that will prevent you from accessing the new earth energies. So, what you can do to access the new earth energy is to really free yourself from your past, cut all of the ties, cut all like the heavy energies, make peace with it. You can also ground yourself in your day to day life. There is so much noise, especially in a digital world. So, if you've never done a digital detox before, that can be very, very helpful. Me, I'm at the point now at 8 o'clock at night. I just turned off the Wi Fi. I'm no cell phone, no computer. I just stay grounded with what is. I don't even listen to music. I really stay in the most organic states possible, because the more we ground into our day to day and we really come back into presence and we really come back into this present moment, in this reality, in the most organic way, it makes it so much easier to connect with these new earth energies and knowing what is the path ahead. Now, another thing I want to talk about is there are some of you who are going to be here a long time and you already know who you are. Um, we're talking here about like people who have a current life expectancy of at least 300 years or more. And these people are here because their task is humongous. If you think of opening a Stargate or doing grid work in the ethers, right? These energies, when we use our prana to open these energies, to make these grids or to open the stargates, then the stargates in these grids, they kind of live through us. There is a symbiotic relationship between our own energetic field and that of what we are connected with, because we the one who materialized it for the collective. So, um, when we passed away and crossed the rainbow bridge, that means that these energies will startly, the potency of it will start to fade gradually. So if there are systems in place that are meant to be here 1,000 years, probably going to be here a long time. So if you have opened a portal and you know this portal is going to be here for 300 years and you're the one who open it, you're most likely going to be the one who man it the whole time, and you're going to be the one closing it in 300 years. Now, again, I'm not here to convince you of anything. Um, I'm sharing this information because I know there are some of you out there who are already ready to receive it. My goal is to help you with the integration of this wisdom that you're here to anchor. Um, yes, we all have the ability to live up to 1,000 years, and I think as it's going to become more and more common, they're just going to be a initial crew, so to speak, and that's going to be interesting how this is going to blend in society. I cannot picture it. I mean, I don't get images of how that's going to look like. It's very interesting, but anyways, I'm just saying that it is a thing that is currently happening. Don't be surprised. And again, like abilities like telekinesis, we can all learn it. We can all learn it, and that will be a whole other video altogether to walk you through the steps. Like, how can you awaken your energetic vessel to really utilize this energy? Like, and yes, awaken yourself to telekinetic abilities. Like, what are the steps? How does that feel like? How does that looks like? And of course, I feel like this is going to be resonating a lot easier to some of you. If you're already in this consciousness, you have already received guidance, have had experiences, it's going to be a lot easier than again, like, what is she talking about here? Again, not trying to impose any kind of ideologies here. I'm just sharing what I have experienced, according to also people that I have talked to. and there seems to be a general consensus in this field, so to speak. And they may not resonate with a lot of you, but it will resonate with some of you. And again, my job is just to help you with the integration of these energies. So if you like this, please consider giving me a thumbs up. I feel like this is all I have for today. I will be preparing another lecture soon because honestly, I could be talking for hours on end. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Um, yes, I could be talking about this for so long. But before the good happens, we really do have to clear out the old, and it's not going to be pretty. But again, I think Galactic Command, which I am an ambassador for and I channel for, there will be another a broadcast like this one coming very, very soon to really tell you more about what's about to come short term. And we'll leave it as that. So, again, thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great time and you are well from wherever you're watching. Sending you so much love and hope to see you back. Bye.